In this timeline, we will explore how Black Mountain College defied expectations by integrating black and white students in the Jim Crow South. They were able to accept their first African American student, Alma Stone Williams, in 1944, years before Brown versus Board of Education. But it should be noted that this decision wasn't easy. As a matter of fact, the students and faculty had several debates, and how this would not only be received in the college itself, but the surrounding communities of Asheville and Black Mountain. Ultimately, a staff meeting in 1944 led to an agreement to accept one black female student. And even though Miss Williams became the first at Black Mountain College, not everyone was happy. This letter demonstrates how not everyone was ready to celebrate integration. While the rest of the country had people disagreeing with the notion that Black America deserved equal rights, Black Mountain College had already broached this conversation years earlier. Students urged administration on the inclusion of African American students. From the information given, there was an honest inclusion too, not just a tokenization that sometimes occurred in order to meet a diversity quota. Mary Parks Washington of Atlanta, who attended Black Mountain College during a summer session, said in an interview in 2000 that, "I blended in. It didn't seem to matter." While she was at Black Mountain College, Miss Washington felt embraced, and although it was just a summer session, she often refers to her experience there with fondness. Separate but equal continued to be embraced as Jim Crow laws were a part of American society until the Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed. In an inauguration speech in 1963 made by George Wallace of Alabama, Wallace reminded the United States of the prevalent sentiments of segregation. How was Black Mountain College able to integrate when segregation was a readily acceptable way of life? Claudette Colvin was 15 years old in 1955 when she refused to give up her seat for a white passenger. She's quoted as saying, "It's my constitutional right to sit here as much as that lady. I paid my fare, and it's my constitutional right." Young people during this time just couldn't let the world pass them by as they continued to be treated as second-class citizens, but this also was a cost for students themselves. During this time, African American students had to be the best and were not able to make mistakes. In historically white schools across the country, black students that were in those spaces had to constantly prove themselves. It is a reminder that as integration started to happen mainstream, the burden was still on the black students themselves. Through the courage of those who were first, like Alma Stone Williams, Rosa Parks, and Ruby Bridges, we were reminded that it takes those willing to take risks to bring change, whether or not others are ready. Black Mountain College took those steps sooner than others and quietly challenged segregation to bring different perspectives into their art and music. While Alabama became the last state to desegregate, black students attempted to apply to colleges there. When they were finally admitted, it was very common for major publicized confrontations. In these situations, black students had to be escorted for their safety. This was the complete opposite of what black students experienced at Black Mountain College. They were sought out and welcomed way before the federal government told them to. Although some students and staff would have preferred to see faster progression of integration, the slow progress that was made was progress nonetheless. Black Mountain College was radically different, but quietly celebrated their progress. They didn't just want integration to make a point. They wanted progress in order to learn, grow, and create art in an authentic way.